Hello, all of you people watching YouTube, hopefully relaxing in bed. My name is Rachel. I'm going to take you through how to make a flying geese quilt block today. So a little backstory is that I recently finished this quilt. Oh, not that one. This one. For my daughter, queen size bed. It was to upgrade this one that I made for her as a toddler. That's a single. So she got the upgrade. It is a pattern that I just made up myself, basically just all quarter circles. And a lot of this fabric is my own hand-dyed fabrics. So I recently finished that, and then I was really in the mood to quilt again and make more quilts. I've made a lot of quilts in my life, but not in the last few years. So now I want to make one for my son for his bed. I am making him a queen. He doesn't have a queen, but he'll grow up and get one eventually. It is based on this inspiration. Ding. And so I went to Spotlight, got lots of black and white fabrics, and I've already got quite a lot of the quilt done, but I only just thought I should film this and show everybody else how to do flying geese quilt block. So here is what I've been doing. Okay, so this is what the quilt block looks like. Each block. So the quilt is going to be made up of hundreds of these. I did calculate it. I don't know off the top of my head. So basically we've got each block consists of the 4 triangles in one color surrounded by triangles of another color. So these are all the ones I've been doing so far. What you need is a whole heap of squares cut first. So the smaller squares are 4-inch squares, 4-inch by 4-inch. And the bigger squares are 7.5. Let me just check that. 7.5-inch squares. So you need plenty of those and plenty of those. And then there's a special trick to put them all together really quickly to make this block. So let me show you that. Okay, so this might prove difficult because I don't have a tripod or anything. I'm fairly new at doing all this. I'm just holding my phone, so it might be interesting when I start sewing. Anyway, here's our large square. First we put our right sides together, 2 of the 4-inch squares on top diagonally like this. Ooh. Oh my gosh, one-handed work. This is going to be tricky. Okay, then what I do is line up my ruler and draw a line corner to corner. What I try and do, there is a diagonal line on this ruler, so I line that up with the edge. I get that all lovely. This is really going to test me. Can I quilt one-handed? Okay, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Okay, I'm drawing a line. Look, this one might be more wonky than my other ones, but that's okay. Okay, I draw a line. Did that work? Faintly. Okay, then what I do is I go to my machine. I do 2 seams of stitching, 1/4 inch on this side of the line and 1/4 inch on the other side of the line, all the way down. So we'll do that now. So I start with a bit of fabric underneath just to get going. I really needed one of my children to film for me while I do this. I don't know if I can actually do it. Okay. So where's my line? You can't actually see the line on the, just faintly. Okay, here we go. Line this one up. Obviously when you're doing it, you won't be holding a phone. So I probably should just film this and then show you what it looks like at the end. We're going. Marvelous. I learned a new skill today. Okay. Yep. Okay, I went ahead and sewed the other lines. Now we've got 2 lines, and all I need to do is cut down the middle. So I'll line up my ruler and get my rotary cutter and slice. Okay, now I go to my iron and I'm going to iron these open so it looks like a love heart. Funny. Okay. Love heart. Do the same for the other one. Once you've got 2 love hearts, you take your second 2 small 4-inch squares, right sides together, line that up on that corner and that corner. And again, we're going to take our ruler and draw a line corner to corner. I like to just check that it's lined up this way as well, so it's perpendicular line. Once we've drawn our line, we sew 1/4 inch on this side, 1/4 inch on this side to both of those. Easier that time. Okay, so back over here, we just trim those away from each other. And okay, so I will again take my ruler and slice these open. I'll do that without holding a camera because safety first. And then when we go back to the iron and we flip these up and iron them, we're going to end up with 4 of our triangle pieces, or 4 rectangles I should say. Okay, here we go, all nice and flat and ironed. We obviously need to, first we trim them. So I'll show you how I trim them and to what exact size. Okay, if you're following along at home with the 4-inch square and the 7.5-inch square, it will then make a rectangle block that is 6.5 inches long by 3.5 inches. So when I'm trimming these, I find the middle of 6.5 is 3.25. So my 3.25, I make sure that little dot there at the core, it's a a 3 1/4 and it's a 1/4 inch in. I want that at the very tip of my triangle. I've got other dots here that I can follow to make sure that my triangle is straight. So basically I'll be trimming off this side first and along the top. And then I will flip it. Oh, let me do that. Okay, so I've just, using my rotary cutter, cut along this edge and this edge. Okay, I flip this over. Now I want to line up 3 1/2 inches on this side and 6 1/2 inches here. So it will look like that. 6 1/2, 3 1/2. I press down, I rotary cut this edge and this edge as well. That one looks like it's exactly right. So I just need to trim off the top of this. Then I have a perfectly even rectangle, so that when I sew my 4 rectangles together, all my blocks are exactly the same size. So that's the importance of trimming. I'm going to go ahead and do the other 3 rectangles. So once they're trimmed, I obviously want to go right sides together. I'm going to sew these two together and these 2 together along the top there. I actually sew it from this angle, and then when I'm sewing my 1/4 inch, technically it should go right through the tip of my triangle. However, I'm not overly concerned if they don't line up perfectly, because this quilt is so busy with the pattern that no one's going to notice if they're not perfectly aligned, or my blocks, but that's the idea. Okay, I've just changed to my 1/4 inch foot on my machine so that I can get a really nice 1/4 inch seam. Yes, I am in Australia. I'm in Brisbane, which we use the decimal system, but for quilting, I don't know why, I've always used inches. All of our rulers for quilting are in inches, so that's just like the terminology I use when I'm quilting, even though I am a centimeters kind of gal. Okay, these have lined up really nicely. I'll just show you a bit closer when I get to the point. Sorry about my filming. I'm going to have to get myself a tripod, hey? All right, let's see if we get this lined up. Can you even see? Yeah. Is it going to go through the center? Bullseye. Okay. I trim them apart. And the next step is to sew these 2 together along here the same way, and then I'll take it to my iron and I'll iron it, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. I'll just do that off camera. So here's the finished block, nice and ironed. For your interest, I just ironed both seams up towards the top of the triangles. When I'm putting them together, there will be a bit of bulk here, but I think it will be okay. It will be fine. So our tips are right at the top. Didn't cut off the top of my triangles, which is good. Now we still have room here. We've got a 1/4 inch on this side, and at the top here. So when I piece all the blocks together, ideally the triangles are still intact with nice pointed points. But as I said, this quilt is so busy, no one's going to know if they're not. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that tutorial on the Flying Geese quilt block. As you can see, I have done a lot of these blocks, so we're ready next video to put them all together. And I've learned something new about myself, that I sort of can sew one-handed if pushed, but I should really get myself a tripod. That would make things a lot easier. Thanks everyone. Stay tuned for part 2, probably part 3 when I quilt the quilt with the batting and show you how I do that, and maybe do the binding in part 4. So I guess stick around and watch those. Thanks everyone. Bye.